Hello, Sandman Nation. It is U.S. Open week, which many people say is the second best major in all sports. So today we may have a little second place theme going, but let's not wait another second to get into today's show because it is time to enter Sandman Sports. As always, I'm here with two of the best freaking co-hosts ever, the dapper, the handsome, the quite amazing Mr. Pat Klatt, and the legendary Sandman himself, Mr. Bill Sanders. And these guys are always first place in my book because let's face it, second place is just the first loser. And despite what Dennis Rodman might say, we at Sandman Sports think sloppy seconds is never a good thing. All right, boys, well, let's get into it. Before we do, let's tell everyone where our listeners can find us. You can find us everywhere this summer, like sunburns, flip-flops, and guys sucking in their beer bellies around bikini-clad women. And yes, we do like our beers and our bellies here at Sandman Sports, but that just keeps us cranking out the awesome stuff every day. So hit us up at entersandmansports.com. Check in daily. We're constantly dropping new content. We got articles, videos, so much more. Just this week, guys, we have added coverage on the NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, college football, college baseball, tennis, Beerman Six Packs, Sandman's Golf Crush and Fades. These podcasts, and we published our most recent article on The Fringe, which looks at just how good Terrell Davis was during a 16-month stretch. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's really cool stuff. I learned a lot about how good that guy really was. So also, Sandman Nation, be sure to follow us on social media too. You can follow us at Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at Enter Sandman Sports. All right, boys. Well, as I teased in the opening, it is U.S. Open week. And while I know some golf fans rank it differently, most would probably put the U.S. Open second behind the Masters. So that got me thinking, what are the second bests across the rest of the sports world? So for this week's opening, I'm going to run through a list of categories where you have to tell me your pick for the second best, not the GOAT, not the all-timer, but the runner-up that still belongs in the conversation. So I'm going to give you a category. I'm going to tell you what I think is number one. I think some are no-brainers, but there may be a debate on a few. And then you tell me who or what you would say number two on the list is and why. All right. So I'm also going to participate in this one. It's not just you two. I'm going to jump in, give you my thoughts. But Pat, why don't you lead us off with this one? All right. You ready for the first category?
I think so.
All right, here we go. So who would you say is the second, or what would you say is the second best pro football event after the Super Bowl?
The Thanksgiving slate of games. Yeah, for sure. Thanksgiving Day is
fantastic. Look at that, guys. Yeah. All right. No dissent. Yeah, we all got that. It's
3-pack.
It was actually not even, it really wasn't. I don't even know what third would be.
I just was going to laugh.
The Christmas games now.
Yeah, maybe. Pro Bowl. I was like, no one's picking last place event. Pro Bowl.
Yeah. No, that's preseason. It's preseason.
Yeah, you're right. Preseason.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Bill, you start us off on this one. Second best NBA player of all time after Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I'm going to go with LeBron. I just thought his overall stats, his longevity in the game. I know a lot of people don't like LeBron, but it's hard to argue to me with his production over the years. So I went with LeBron.
I had the same, and for me, I was like, I'm not gonna go back to like Oscar Robertson because I didn't watch Oscar Robertson, you know, or like any of that. So I was like, I had to do someone that was in my era, and I was going back and forth between Kobe and LeBron, and I just went LeBron, even though I don't particularly love him.
Yeah, LeBron. I think this might be the toughest one that we have on this list. He's a 4-time NBA champion, 4-time MVP. He's the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. So 10 finals appearances, but I got to be a little different, guys. It's close, but I got to go with Kareem. He's a 6-time NBA champ, 6-time MVP, still the most ever. He was the all-time scoring leader for 4 decades until LeBron passed him. The Skyhook, 19-time All-Star. He was
the appearance in the movie Airplane.
Airplane acting.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Now, probably the most accomplished big man ever, and So that's who I would go with. But LeBron, yeah, you can't argue LeBron. All right. I can take this one first. So second best NFL quarterback of all time after Tom Brady. This one is another one that I have a feeling, well, we could all have three different answers. I'm gonna go with Joe Cool. I'm going with Joe Montana, four-time Super Bowl champ, three-time Super Bowl MVP, two NFL season MVPs, undefeated in Super Bowls. And guys, I didn't know this. 11-0 touchdown to interception ratio in his Super Bowls. That's
Wow.
pretty freaking
Clutch.
impressive. Yeah. He had the catch, so many just clutch drives. The John Candy sighting, famous play
Broke the
or
Bengals
famous
fans' hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, in the 80s, he was the quarterback of the decade. And honestly, I would put him number two. What do you got on that, Pat?
I thought about Montana, but then I went with Peyton Manning because they were
Yeah.
kind of always one and
Can't
two.
argue,
And,
yeah.
you know, Peyton had some video game numbers when he went to Denver. It was so fun to watch that rivalry between the Colts when he was with the Colts and the Patriots. So give me Peyton. Even though he only has the two Super Bowl wins, right? One with the Colts, one with Denver. So he's got two Super Bowl wins. I don't know how many MVPs, but the only thing that I hesitated was just his mobility, you know. But yeah, Bill.
Yeah. I just was agreeing with Pat. I went with Peyton Manning, and I was going to say that there's something about Peyton's post NFL career as well that I find to be so appealing about Peyton Manning. I know people feel like he's oversaturated and everything else, but I think the guy's awesome as a broadcaster on the work that he does on Monday Night Football. I think his commercials are hilarious. He was hilarious on Saturday Night Live, all the skits he did there, that YMCA one or whatever, where he drills the kid in the back with the ball. I mean, he's a legend on and off the field. So for me, Peyton.
Yeah. No, it's a great one.
Omaha.
It's a great one. All right. We'll go to Pat on this one. What about the second best college football rivalry after Michigan Ohio State?
I was torn on this one. Just personally, I think Texas Oklahoma is always a must watch for me. I always like that game, the Red River rivalry. But I did have a close second, Army Navy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah. Bill?
Yeah, I think for me here, I thought of both of those as well. I kind of tend to go Alabama, Auburn, and maybe Auburn hasn't been as good recently, but it just always seems like such a bitter blood feud between those two schools, similar to Michigan, Ohio State. So
Yeah.
Iron Bowl for me.
Yeah, this one's tough too. I think the hatred is more real probably in the Iron Bowl, but I actually went with Pat's with the Red River rivalry. I've
Can't
been
argue it.
to that one. I lived in Dallas, so I know like it's not on the level of Michigan, Ohio State, or probably not even Alabama, Auburn, but they do not like each other, these fan bases, these teams. Bitter recruiting rivals, almost always good games. The fact that it's a neutral site for a rivalry, I think, is unique and cool. Being at the Texas State Fair, there's nothing like it. Both in the Big 12 forever, and then now, following each other into the SEC and leaving behind the Big 12. I don't know. To me, it tops. I think it's more consistent, but I probably would say the more bitter rival is the Iron Bowl. All right, I'm gonna just do one or two more here. All right, how about this? We'll stick with college football. Second best college football coach of all time after Nick Saban. Who you got on this, Bill?
So I went with the legend of the game, Bernie Bierman. Have you heard of this guy?
Yeah, Minnesota, dude.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard of him.
I had to throw it in there because I just couldn't believe it when I was doing the research. I'm like, there was a college football coach named Bernie Bierman, and he gets love in the top coach rankings. So, okay, Minnesota. Pat,
he's my seventh uncle's cousin on my mom's side, I think.
Nice,
Yeah, right.
I love it. I'm going to stick with Bama for my second best and go with Paul Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
And for one, what a great nickname. I mean, that's just classic. The hat, you can just picture it. He also had 4 natties. He's, the kick-ass nickname. So give me Paul Bear Bryant.
It's great. Yeah, I thought this was actually going to be really hard for me going in, and I actually thought Bear Bryant probably was what it was going to be. Once I got into the research, though, this coach kind of just jumped out, and we all know, and I think we'd all admit this. I definitely admit it. We often favor the more recent in our sports culture, and like I said, guilty of that a lot. We discount the past, we forget the past, but I gotta say, Newt Rockne is the second best coach of all time. I mean, everyone knows who this guy is, and he hasn't coached in more than 100 years, almost 100 years. He last coached in 1930. He helped popularize the game of college football, helped get Notre Dame the mythos that it is today. He coached from 1918 to 1930. He went 105, 12, and 5 in 81 winning percentage, still the highest ever. 3 national titles. He basically invented the forward pass. He coached the legendary Four Horsemen. He was actually a celebrity coach, but long before Nick Saban, long before ESPN, all that. He made football headlines and made it a national game. I didn't know this. He died tragically at the age of 43 in a plane crash. So if that hadn't happened, he probably would have had a lot more records than what he has. But I'm going with Newt. What do you got, Pat?
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm going to take a pass on this. How do you follow Newt Rockne? I mean, with anyone? But give me, who I was thinking maybe would be a good one would be Barry Alvarez. The way he turned around Wisconsin. Wisconsin really wasn't much of a football school, and now they're in it every year. So, and that a lot of that was Barry Alvarez taking over, and now he's the AD, and so that was a big turnaround for Wisconsin. But maybe Lou Holtz. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you're asking the wrong guy on that question. That's not my cup of tea.
I thought you were going to go Urban Meyer, Bierman.
Yeah, I'm sure you thought that. All right, we're gonna do one more here.
All right.
Second best baseball voice or announcer after Vin Scully.
The GOAT.
I'll start with this one. I doubt either of you will say this guy, and this one was tough too, but I'm gonna go with Harry Carey on this one.
Holy cow!
Oh! I mean, he just seemed like a guy you would want to have a beer or maybe 10 beers with. He just made Cubs games truly a cultural event. I mean, I remember living in Dallas, tuning in to WGN on a weekday afternoon to watch this guy belt out the 7th inning stretch, take me out to the ball game. I mean, he definitely was more of an entertainer than he was a tactician of the game. But he was beloved, and that's kind of what you want in an announcer and a sports personality there. So I got to go with Harry Carey.
It's a great one.
Yeah. Bill? What do you got, Pat?
All right. For me, I actually went Carl Ravitch. I like the Sunday Night Baseball crew. I like Ravitch and the baseball crew. I think he does a great job. I like tuning in. I like his voice. He keeps it simple. The whole crew in general of that Sunday Night Baseball is pretty good for me. Otherwise, Bob Costas, maybe. I like Bob Costas too. So
I love Costas.
Yeah, Costas is good.
Yeah, this one's tough. I mean, gosh, I probably had 10 guys on my list. You guys know me, Homer at heart. I'm going with Dave Niehaus. He was the Mariners play-by-play voice. And I know that's this. Every other category, I tried to steer clear of my homerism.
Right. Yeah, I figure you're allowed one homerism.
But
it's okay.
Yeah, he's just. I mean, the voice of my youth, the voice of summer. He's so good. So Dave Niehaus is my guy.
Yeah. All right, I got to do this one just because I'm curious. Let's go through this quick. We don't need to. Who do you think is the second best female tennis player of all time after Serena?
Yeah, that's.
I think Martina's close, but I mean, Steffi. I didn't know this. 22 Grand Slam titles. Only Serena has more in the open area, but she has the Golden Slam. Do you guys even know what a Golden Slam is? It's all
and the Olympics
that she won the Olympics in 1988. Huh. So
okay.
Martina's very impressive too. But yeah, Steffi Graf, I gotta go. And she retired at the age of 30.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
But she dominated. She was phenomenal.
She was incredible
when I first started watching tennis. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, that was fun. I think most of those number one. I mean, did you disagree with any of those number ones? I felt like those were probably all the case. But I think, number twos are not always as easy, and I think can be some debate there. So I will ask, do you guys agree that the US Open is the second best golf major or not? You think it's British?
I like the Open. Yeah, I like the Open Championship
Pat loves
myself.
the Open. US Open for me. Yeah. What I love about the Masters is Augusta. So the US Open, rotating venues,
right,
just puts it one notch below the Masters for me. But I do love the tournament. I love that it's on Father's Day weekend.
I do love that. I do love that, dude.
It's
and
I love that it always
goes
so hard.
Yeah, free pass to sit on the couch.
The end of it because I'm like, it's Father's Day.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Mars asked, "What do you want to do on Father's Day?" And I'm like, I would love to sit on my ass and watch golf.
Guess where I get to go this Father's Day, though, guys? It is, or even our listeners might know this if they listen to an episode of, I don't know, 10 episodes ago. My beautiful, wonderful daughter, Mackenzie, for my Father's Day present, is taking me to the American Sign Museum here in Cincinnati. So I finally get to go experience this very exciting place. So you just watch out for my report back next week on this.
I expect to hear about it in the
What a great daughter. Yeah. Nice job, Mac.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Well done, Mac. Well done.
All right, guys. Well, let's get into the rest of the show now. In just a moment, we'll get into Be My Guest. Then it's on to Hot Takes, our Stone Cold Locks for the U.S. Open. And finally, we'll wrap up with our top 5. And believe me, you'll want to stick around for this one as you will not be bored. See what I did there, guys? And of course, we'll have plenty of fun and shenanigans along the way, including Pat telling us how much he loves being mentioned in this part every week. Don't worry, that will be a short segment, I promise. All right, boys. Well, it is time for mine and yours favorite guessing game. It is time for Be My Guest. This is the game.
I can't beat last week.
No,
there's nowhere to go but down.
Dude.
Yeah.
That was
amazing. I mean, guys, if you did not, for all of our listeners, if you did not tune in to Bill last week, he was amazing. He did not miss. Every guess he got was correct, and these were not all easy. What were they? The 10 most World Series appearances, right?
Yeah.
And you never missed,
I didn't go in order. I did not nail them in exact order, but it was
maybe that's how you can improve today. So
okay, yeah, here we go.
But there you go. The bar's been raised. All right, guys, this is the game where you try to guess some sort of sports list and are usually very, very wrong. Although I don't know if I can say that after last week with Bill. Maybe I could say, and Pat is usually very
wrong.
My Cincinnati Reds Ring of Honor, I was very, very wrong.
You were very wrong.
Lou Piniella. I love
Lou Piniella. Hey, I still can't believe he's not in there.
I mean, he did win a World Series. I think he managed for like 2.5 seasons.
He played too.
And anyway. All right, guys, today we're going to go back to pro football. And like last week, it's pretty straightforward, but I do think this one could be challenging. In fact, I think this one is actually, it's definitely more difficult than last week. So I don't see a sweep coming from Bill. Here's what I want. I want the top 10 NFL franchises in terms of regular season wins since 2000. So basically the last 25 years.
Regular season.
All right. Regular season wins. Okay. Remember, guys, we upped the stakes last week, which Pat loves me for. Last week ended with Bill at 9 points, Pat at 2, but we have 5 more weeks in the session. So plenty of time for Pat to make up ground so he doesn't have to wear that damn Packers jersey in some future podcast. Okay. Just a reminder real quick. If you get 2 points, if you hit a 1 through 5, first place through 5th place on this list. If you get 1 point, if it's 6 through 10, you get minus 1 point for every guess that is wrong. So don't be wrong. At the end, we'll do the bottom 5, but that'll just be for fun. So let's get into it. All right. I'm actually going to let Pat go again. If you're in last place in this, each week you will get to go first because there's a lot of advantage there. So Pat, who you got?
Thanks. Give me the Patriots.
In the back, with the
Patriots
forever. They're
number one
Yep.
with 270 wins.
Too easy.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Nice,
what is
nice
that
Pat.
average? It's like that's an 11 wins a year.
And they've been atrocious.
Last year they were
like 4 or 5
years. Yeah.
Or maybe not as much as 4 or 5. But okay, nice job, Pat. Damn it, I knew the Patriots. I'm gonna go Chiefs.
Chiefs are 7th.
Oh,
yeah.
what? Not even top 5.
Yes.
7th with 232.
Yep. Give me the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, he snuck in with a 2-pointer. They're 5th with 242.
Nice work. What?
Dude,
Nice.
Pat, look at this.
Wait.
Pat is already in 2 guesses. He's already making a big giant comeback.
Bierman, say one more time. How many wins did my 7th place guess have?
232.
Okay, 232. 5th is 242. 1st was 270.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's tight, but okay, all right. 5th place. So we've got 1st, 5th, and 7th. I mean, 2nd just feels like it should be easy. Why am I feeling like it's got to be an NFC team? Niners.
That would be -1 point.
Damn
the
it.
Niners
Boy,
are not
I was so,
on this
I knew
list.
this week I was
In fact,
toast.
the
I knew.
Niners are,
What?
let's see, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 8th. They're 18th. They have 195. They've not been very good. I mean, they made a Super Bowl, a few Super Bowls, but they've had some bad years too. All right, Pat, look
Terrible
at this
guess.
door swinging
Terrible
wide
guess.
open for Pat. The Vikings, dude, I'm sorry, but they are not on it.
Come on.
They are 12th.
They're not even in
They
the
were
top
close.
10?
No, they're close.
They're in
They're
it every
12th.
year.
I feel like
12th
Pat
with
is going to
214.
That's
Pat
wrong.
is going to hate
That's-
himself
you're-
when I guess
that's
my next
wrong.
guess because this is his
It's
guy.
I know. I was debating between
Pittsburgh.
the two.
Perfect.
Steelers are number 2.
Yes.
Yep.
What?
Come on. That's your guy,
No
Mike
way.
Tomlin.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. And he
Yeah.
never misses the
And
playoffs.
Coward. was
I
probably
would not
there.
have guessed that they were number 2, but I definitely would have guessed top 5.
A lot of
Like,
AFC wins in this
Yeah.
top.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Give me the Packers. I'm going to try the Packers.
Thank you.
Number
Don't
3.
say they're 11.
Nice.
Oh,
Number
that's
3 with
Nice work.
251. That's who I would have guessed was number 2. So, but good job.
All right. Gosh, I don't think they're going to be 4th, but give me my Seahawks.
They're
Nice
8th.
job.
Yeah,
Great.
there we go. All right.
229. That's good.
Oh, shoot.
So you got 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. So 4, 6, 9, and 10 are left.
I'm going to try, just for all the good years with Peyton Manning, let's go with the Colts.
6. Very good.
Nice work. Nice work. Denver? I mean, I'll stick with Peyton.
All right. So you got it. And just so you know, they're tied for 10th with another team, but I'm taking that team away so we keep it. So the just so you know, the Broncos and the Cowboys were tied for 10th with
I thought about
Dallas
Dallas.
with 217. So
Okay.
so do
Thank
not
you.
guess the Cowboys. Yes, good
Thank
job.
You. Thank you. So what do we need? 6 and 9?
So you get 4 and 9.
4 and 9. 4 and 9. Pat, don't steal
I
that
will,
4
I will
on
tell
me.
you this. I think 4 is easy. I'm
Okay.
actually shocked you haven't guessed 4. I think 9 is difficult.
The Atlanta Falcons.
right.
Sorry. The Atlanta Falcons
Eric?
are
Oh,
are they close? They're they're like 5th. They're 16th. They're 16th.
Damn
with
it.
197.
I'm trying to go division by division.
Yeah, same.
I mean, not Raiders, not Chargers? No. Yeah, I mean,
All right. You got 5 seconds or it's -1 point. The
Okay,
judge,
okay.
has to roll.
That's totally fair. Totally fair. Buffalo.
It is not Buffalo. They are.
Goodbye.
They have to be close.
I
Yeah,
thought
they're
recent run of
they're
success, I'm
11th,
like,
12th. They're like 14th or
Okay.
13th, something
Shoot.
like that. Yeah.
All right. I knew that wasn't 4. That's for sure.
Oh, guys, I
Man.
really can't believe you haven't gotten 4 yet.
I mean, my next guess, I didn't even want to guess them.
The Baltimore Ravens?
That's a
Finally.
great
That
guess.
is 4.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice
Good
work,
job.
Pat.
Good job.
Nice work. Absolutely, Baltimore. Great call.
Yeah.
Shit.
They had a lot of good years. They had a lot of
Yeah.
good years.
All right, Bill, you get another chance here, and then I'm gonna start giving
Rams.
clues. It is not the Rams.
No.
right.
The
Is it the
Rams were they're
Cincinnati
19th.
Bungles? Is it the
Hold on,
Cincinnati
don't guess
Bungles?
yet, because I'm gonna give
13?
you a clue.
Okay, I was close. Shoot.
Oh, you're gonna give me a clue? Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a clue. All right, this team is in the NFC.
Oh, I know what it is. Never just didn't cross my radar.
NFC. Is that a conference? NFC? Do they play in the NFL?
You're gonna
Thank
get
God we can edit
Bears.
this out.
The Bears.
it.
No,
No, come on.
I don't know. The Bears suck, but they had a good year in
Dude, the Bears.
They're
the
like
Bears-
30th. I don't know.
They're like 22nd.
They had
Actually,
Jay
better-
Cutler.
They did more better than I thought.
Okay.
All right, who do you
Do
think
I
it
get
is?
do I get another clue or
Yeah,
no?
No, you don't get another clue.
Okay,
The
another
clues start.
I'm
at the
going
beginning of the
Saints.
round. It is the Saints.
Yes.
Look at that.
Oh,
Very
I was just thinking of
nice.
good quarterbacks, right?
Drew
Drew Brees.
Brees.
Yeah.
damn.
All right.
Oh
let
man,
me-
I suck this week.
So
Shit.
you got though. What's interesting is
This game's so fun. I
yeah.
love it.
I mean,
like it.
you got the. I think Pat did here. So you both got -3
Pat got
on your
3
losses,
2-pointers.
but
at
Pat
least.
got 4 2-pointers.
4
He got the
2-pointers, yeah,
Patriots,
yeah.
the Packers, the Ravens, and the Eagles.
Yep.
So that was and he got the Colts. So that's 9 points minus his 3. So he got 6. And then you got the Steelers. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you got 3 points. So you have 12-8 now.
All right.
12-8.
Back in it.
All
Back
right.
in it.
All
Nice
right.
job,
Look
Clint.
at that. Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Let me. So
The
let's,
Bears.
put
What was
that
I thinking
before-
with the Bears?
I feel like
I'm
you're kicking
dumb.
yourself about the Steelers, and I'm kicking myself about the Ravens, right?
Yeah.
Because Tomlin's your guy.
Yeah, I know. That was
You
dumb.
So
I
your
just-
Vikes were 12th. We said with 214. My Bengals were smacked out right in the middle. Because they had some awful years and some good years. They were 20th with 189. So
The reason I thought Vikes is because they're in it every year, and they never really have like a real dud year. Like they're never like 4 wins.
They haven't been
you
like
know?
4 and
They-
12 or 6
Yeah,
and
they've
10
never-
even.
all right.
Yeah.
So real quick, and I will say it's good and impressive, I guess, that none of you guessed any that finished in the bottom 5. So that's good. Like you weren't that far off. And so real quick, who do you guys think? Just start throwing out some names. for
Bottom 5, Detroit.
Yeah. Detroit is third worst. Yep.
Troy Lit.
Carolina? I mean, they had
The
a couple
Panther,
years.
they're
They had
they're
a couple
not.
good
They were
years.
close.
Oh, yeah, okay. Giants, Jets.
Jets.
Neither
Neither
one.
of them?
Really? Oh,
Close.
okay.
Both
Okay.
close. Both in the bottom 10.
Okay. Not the Raiders.
The
Right.
Raiders are
Yeah,
fourth
Raiders.
worst. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think Raiders.
I'm
Not
shocked you haven't said
Tennessee?
the worst team, guys. The Jags.
Oh,
are second
Jaguars.
worst.
Jaguars.
And then who?
Yeah.
No, but who's the worst team in football, guys? Come on, they've been awful.
Browns.
Yes, the
Oh,
Browns.
God.
And then the fifth worst is actually the Texans, but they didn't start until 2002, so they didn't have the whole
Oh,
thing
yeah.
of. So I'm actually not gonna say that they're the fifth worst. The fifth worst is a team that made the playoffs this year, super bright future ahead, and Bill's favorite quarterback,
Washington
outside
Redskins.
the Washington Redskin Commanders.
Or sorry, Commanders.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Jaden
Yeah,
Daniels. They're going to be
yeah.
good moving
they're gonna
forward.
be good. They're
Yeah.
not gonna be on this list 25 years from now. That I
Yeah.
don't think so. I am really excited, guys, for next week's. Next week's we're gonna go away from teams. We're gonna go to like people, and it's gonna be a fun one. So get your thinking caps on. Okay,
Love it.
guys. Yeah, that was good. You guys did good. Let's now get into hot takes because it is time for CNBN Sports Hot Takes, brought to you by Mike's Hot Honey. The honey's so good, it doesn't need any extra hyperbole today. Just try the stuff, people. Seriously, it is amazing. Best freaking honey I've ever had. Do yourself a favor. Go to mikeshothoney.com right now. Order some or go to the honey aisle at your local grocery store. Just do it, damn it. All right, Pat, start us off, sir.
Hot takes again. I'm not keeping on my sports right now. I got a lot of work.
Too
I
much
stopped
painting?
watching. Stopped watching basketball completely. That's done.
Mm.
No more hoops. Watching a little bit of hockey. So I've watched games 1 and 2, and then the beginning of game 3. So, and that's a great series. I mean, NHL finals always never disappoint. I did watch Beauty and the Beast live action with my daughter. That was awesome.
No, how was that?
That is good. It's good. I mean, my daughter
I don't
sings
know what this
along.
is.
It's wonderful. Beauty and the Beast. It's like a Disney movie. You've
Oh,
never
oh,
seen it?
Well,
no.
it was made like a
Yeah.
few years ago.
I
Yeah.
know, I know I know Beauty and the Beast, but
Yeah.
what's live action mean? I don't even
Well,
know.
so
what that
like
is.
they're taking all these old Disney movies and they're making them live, like with people, live action. Instead
Okay.
of
I didn't know
cartoon, they're
that term.
bringing in actual actors. Yeah. And then they'll add a couple songs, that weren't on the original and extend it a little bit. But that was fun. And then, every time I get home and I try to turn on the TV, my wife will be like, "Oh, let's watch our show." So we're watching our show, and then which right now is The White Lotus, which is
Yeah.
pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah, good
entertaining.
stuff.
And then so I haven't been watching a ton of sports. I watched the Osama bin Laden Netflix Finding
What'd you think?
Osama. I feel like I had 2 feelings. I felt satisfied when they killed him, and just kind of like it just makes you feel like, God, there's some sick evil in the world, and there's so much going on beyond what we're doing here, and
Yeah.
it's going on right now. Just how do you rid the world of this evil, But
That guy,
yeah, so
though, the leader of SEAL Team 6,
yeah,
talking about it, that guy
yeah,
was
just a badass.
oh my
Just a dude.
God. I mean, that's his
Just
job. He just is like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna go kill Osama.
Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got. No big sports takes. I'm excited for golf. I'm excited for some Father's Day golf, sitting on the couch, and yeah, can't wait.
Nice.
Gonna
Me
be
too.
great. So
I hope
what
Bierman
about you, Bill?
brings it on hot takes because I just didn't have a lot this weekend. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but Pat mentioned one of mine, which was the Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched much of Game 3. It was just like a brawl the entire time. It was
Yeah.
just like every time you turn around, it was 6 guys are fighting.
Yeah.
and
Which was awesome. I love
which
that.
was
I love that.
and the refs at one point in the third period didn't even step in. They just let them go until they tired themselves out because they knew they were all getting game misconducts. So they're just like, well, all right, well, we'll just let these guys fight. Anyway, that was kind of crazy.
That's smart by Florida. Florida's not, every time the whistle blows, they're knocking into them on their way to the bench, and they're just Marchand's a little.
He's such
a little punk, and he's going around hitting guys, and after the whistle. But yeah.
I just want to punch him in his big nose. And I'm not even I don't hate Florida by any means.
He's
God,
good
he's annoying.
though, man.
Oh,
he's good. He's good.
He's good. He's a winner. Can't take that away. I love Matthew Tkachuk too. That guy's just such a beast. Anyway, that's been really fun. So Andy Johnson, I don't know if you guys saw this, but he just the Mariners announced they're going to retire his number 51. Ichiro is also number 51, which is a little bit unique. But Randy Johnson, I mean, you guys know obviously the big unit. The guy was dominant. He was such a fun Mariner. It's about damn time that the ownership recognizes this guy. He literally saved baseball in Seattle. And so, I just give the guy all the props in the world. He's waited and waited, and now finally ownership is taking care of him. And it's just really neat for all of us Seattle fans to see Randy go up there in the Ring of Honor. So that was a big one for me. The Mariners, speaking of them, they're in absolute free fall. I don't know what's going on with this team, but they can't win a baseball game. So I've sold my World Series.
Same with
tickets.
the Twins. Twins. It's like we're the same.
God, baseball's frustrating, man.
Yeah.
It is so frustrating.
So frustrating.
It's such a long season.
It's like finally we start scoring some runs, then our bullpen falls apart. Finally, our starters start getting healthy and coming back. We can't score any runs. It's just, man, it's been brutal. Last one for me, Bierman, was the Canadian Open fun golf tournament. I really enjoyed TPC Toronto.
That was fun. Yeah.
I was rooting for Sam Burns. I don't hate Ryan Fox by any means, but I was not as excited that he won. Sam Burns went crazy low on Sunday to hang in there for the playoff, and it went 4 holes. So there was just a ton of guys in the mix, and it was a really fun golf tournament. So that was exciting and just a great prelude for the week to come at Oakmont. And I know we're all chomping at the bit. So can't wait.
Can't wait. All right, guys. So I'm going to rant a little bit here on this one.
Love your rants.
I mentioned this briefly in a recent 6-pack, my godson, Jackson Vesper. Love you, dude. Very good golfer. He's on scholarship at Binghamton. He recently got an unofficial hole-in-one. Technically, it was on his third shot. It was after his first shot on a par 3. It was on the green, but he didn't love it, so he throws another ball down. He, just for fun, hits it, makes it. Doesn't officially count, obviously, but still a great shot. Cool. But it got me thinking, because I live on a golf course, a lot of golfer buddies. I've been in a lot of hole-in-one celebrations. People go nuts. We treat hole-in-ones like one of the greatest accomplishments in all sports, when honestly, guys, I think it is one of the most overrated things in sports. So that's what I want to talk a little bit about, guys. Yeah. For elite golfers, it's okay.
I've been golfing my whole life, and I've never even sniffed a hole-in-one, Eric. So I think it's underrated. I think if I got a hole-in-one, I would sell my house and
for elite golfers, hitting a hole-in-one is a product of skill, precision, and consistency. But for the average recreational golfing schmo like me, like Pat, Bill's better than us, but you're still wreck.
Mm-hmm.
It's luck, guys. It's almost all luck. It doesn't take a great round. It doesn't mean you necessarily played well. And in some cases, it doesn't even require a great shot. Just the right bounce, a right roll at the right time, get lucky. There's no buildup, there's no repeatability to it, and there's no pressure that you have to overcome. It's a moment that feels big, but doesn't say much about your overall ability. We celebrate it with stories, photos, drinks, cheers, plaques. It's like someone, unlocked golf's greatest secret to being a master at this game. No, it's not. It's a rare moment, but not necessarily a meaningful one. And that to me is why it is so freaking overrated. And it might be the only sports accomplishment where you're punished for getting it, meaning you have to buy the round of drinks after the round. I mean, come on. That does not seem.
Unless you're playing with Juvie.
So,
Jeff Giovinazzo has a standing. So shout out Juve. He has a standing. Every time I've ever played golf with the guy, he'll say right before everybody tees off, Juvie rule, which means if somebody gets a hole-in-one, he's giving them $100. So it's just like, and he's done that forever. So
nice. I like
shout out to Juve.
Yeah.
He's a bit.
Guys, a hole-in-one, though, it's not alone on my list of sports accomplishments that I think are overrated. So briefly, I got to go through these. 1,000-yard rusher. Are you freaking kidding me? In a 17-game season, it's 59 yards a game.
Yeah,
get over yourselves. It means nothing. Stop freaking saying that. All right, Major League Baseball All-Star selections. There has to be one per team. That irritates the hell out of me. Oh, great. You're the best player on the shittiest team. Congratulations. You made the fucking All-Star game. I hate that. All right. This one could ruffle some feathers, but the Heisman Trophy. It has become much more about narrative than value. Don't get me wrong. The trophy is historic. I will give you that. But the credibility of it as the most outstanding player in the nation is gone. It's a quarterback on a top 5 team that's padded their stats, probably against fairly soft competition in most cases, maybe stepped up in a game or two when pressure was on, but rarely would I say it's the best player in the game that won that.
Maybe
defensive players rarely. Maybe I was going to say this year. Because defensive players almost never win it. Skill players, running backs, are second after quarterbacks, but receivers almost never do. Offensive linemen, defense, But this year was the anomaly, and Travis Hunter definitely was the best player in the game. But rarely do we get that, so can't stand how they do that. And then this one is extremely rare. I'll give you that. But is it that impressive? We kind of treat this like, oh my God. He hit for the cycle. That's incredible. It's a freaking single, double, triple, and home run. I mean, okay.
That one's
but
so
it's
rare.
not like it's rare. It's rare, but it's not like you necessarily had a dominant offensive throw. I'd much rather a guy hit two home runs and a double than that. So, go 3 for 4, couple dingers and a double. I mean, so Cycle gets all the headlines because it does check all the specific boxes and it's rare. But to me, it's more about variety than value, and that's why it's overrated. So,
Yeah.
whew, that felt good, guys. Thanks. Okay,
I like Bierman rant mode. I like it.
I do too.
yeah. Well, I'm
great.
gonna keep going on my little provocative side for my second hot take. Okay, so we're off.
We get two hot takes.
Yeah.
Do you get a hot and a cold take?
All right. So guys, this is US Open week. We've been talking about second places too, right? So my second hot take is movie and sports related. Before I share the actual take though, I want to set this up a little bit, okay? I want to talk about the movie Tin Cup, okay? Last week I said another Kevin Costner sports movie, Bull Durham, is one of the most overrated movies of all time. Not so with Tin Cup. I really like this movie. If anything, I could argue it's underrated. It's funny, semi-realistic plot, underdog story, inspirational for anyone who's ever wanted to take a chance in their dreams. There's even a second place theme, guys. Second place theme mentality here. Because if you remember Tin Cup's rival, David Sims, played by the great Don Johnson, he always plays it safe. He ultimately ends up in second place at the US Open in the dramatic final. He doesn't take risks, and he's okay with that. But then there's Tin Cup. He has the absolute opposite mindset. He always wants to go for the gusto, always aim for something special. He thrives on that type of risk. So here's my hot take. Tin Cup has the most surprising ending in all of sports movies. Okay. Yes, some might say $1 Million Baby, but I'm talking about good movies here, guys. It's just not often that you see the hero lose at the end of a sports movie, but he does, and he does it in disastrous fashion. And you walk away and you're like, great job, Tin Cup. Great job. I mean, not only is he losing, at some point during the end, we know he's already lost. He has no chance. But the tension builds because now he might be disqualified. It's kind of hard to watch the first time because you're not expecting that. You expect the guy to win. You expect him to win. But, his best friend, caddy, Romeo, is like, he's achingly begging him to go up to the water, drop safely, get on the green putt. And he never does it. Never does it. But he finally makes the shot that he's been trying to do because that's what makes Tin Cup tick. And last thing on this, he loses in disastrous fashion, but in a weird twist of fate. His girlfriend, Renee Russo's character, tells him his 13 was way more impressive than coming in second place because everybody's going to remember that. Nobody's going to remember second place. Kind of a cool, twisty way to end a sports movie, and I love it. Just wanted to give it some love today as we approach the US Open. And I wanted to thank Kevin Costner and Ron Shelton for bringing me a good sports movie, much better than Bull Durham.
Bierman, can I ask you a quick one?
Yeah.
So what you're saying, what I've learned from the last two podcasts is Kevin Costner plus Renee Russo is greater than Kevin Costner plus Susan Sarandon.
Oh, yes. Way better.
Yeah, I got it.
Way better. Give me
Renee
Russo. She's probably 70 years old now, and I'd take Renee Russo over Susan Sarandon's granddaughter.
Major League, too. She likes the sports movies.
Oh, yeah, she was good at Major League.
Yeah. All right. I still like Bull Durham, but that's fair.
All right. I'll have her flaws. Okay, it is time to get into Stone Cold Locks, guys. This week brings us to one of the greatest golf events there is with the US Open. And this week it goes back to Oakmont for a historic 10th time, record 10th time. Oakmont, for those who may not know, is just outside of Pittsburgh. Before we get into that, though, guys, we continued our streak of at least one of us getting a top 10 correct. But this week it was a massive long shot, and it was by Mr. Pat Klett. Oh, man.
Was it Matt Kuchar?
That Cooch was out, he goes with Matt McCarty as his dark horse.
Unbelievable, yeah.
And guess what? Good old McCarty came through and delivered.
And again, I had a guy in 11th place again.
Wow.
Or just one shot out. Shane Lowry just needed one more.
That's right. Yep.
Just needed one more.
Bierman,
unreal.
After we allowed Pat to repick the Kuchar thing, we should have rushed to a sports book and put money on Matt McCarty.
Put money on McCarty.
I mean, that was a lock. That was an absolute lock.
And he finished top 5.
I know. He was good. He was in contention. He was in contention. Yeah, great pick.
Lefty, too. You got to love the lefties.
Yeah, that was a great pick, and that means the Pat gets 3 points for his long
Nice.
shot. So he vaults back in the lead, Bill.
Tell me
he
I'm in
vaults
last.
back in.
Come on.
No, we're tied for
Oh.
last, though.
Oh,
we're
but
tied for last.
what?
I don't think that
Yes.
counts. I don't think that counts.
Oh, what?
I'm gonna say, hey, you do you, man. However
Right.
you sleep at night, Bill. However you
Yeah.
sleep at night, you do you.
Well, I do have Scotty written down in case I was in last, but
Yeah.
Pat's got 16, me and you have 14.
okay.
So.
I'll avoid it if we're gonna do that.
I think it's got to be clear last place. Clear last place.
That's fine.
So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
so.
Good rule. Good rule.
Real quick, just a reminder for our listeners: we picked 3 players total. 2 can be any players you want. 1 has to be a dark horse with plus 10,000 odds or worse. And guys, I do have to point something out that I thought was interesting. I don't know if you noticed this. Normally, there are a lot of golfers that fall under our dark horse or fall as favorites. A lot of golfers that are less than plus 10,000 odds to win. This week, there are only 22. So
Crazy.
pretty top heavy and who the experts think have a chance, and a lot of dark horse potential candidates to choose from. So, all right, Pat, why don't you lead us off, man? Who you got?
All right. Well, we talked a few weeks ago about driving accuracy of Aaron Rye. And this week it's going to be very important. And he is my long shot because he is exactly plus 10,000. So give me
We're
Aaron
going with
Rye.
the long shot first. All right. I like it. All right.
Give me 2 gloves. That's my long shot. And then the 2 guys I'm picking this week, it's more just out of a hunch, not a lot of research. I do feel like Joaquin Niemann is getting out of his majors slump. He had a good finish. It was at the last one. I think he's ready to perform here. So give me Joaquin Niemann, and then I feel like Ludwig is coming back a little bit. He's turning it around. So give me Ludwig Elberg and Joaquin Niemann. And
wow.
You can...
All right.
Love it. Pat, I just got to tell you, I think Ludwig and Joaquin Niemann both withdrew from the tournament.
Oh, okay.
No,
give me Matt McCarty and Rio Hasatuni.
I'm kidding. You love Rio. You love that
I do.
guy.
Yeah, you do love Rio.
He's great. All right. So Bierman, I'm gonna honor our new rule. I think that's a good rule. I had Scotty Scheffler plus 270. Duh. That was my initial one.
That was your
that was my analysis.
That was your analysis.
That was my analysis. Duh. But I'm gonna go with John Rahm as my first pick. I'm still chalky.
I knew after reading your awesome
but...
Crush and Fade, by the way, guys, go read.
Oh,
great picks, dude. I love it. I love it every week. This week, I almost went with Rahm based solely on what you wrote about. It's a compelling case, but
yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. It's been a fun one to write, and my editor is phenomenal. Makes it extra polished when it actually shows up in front of people. So I appreciate that. But yeah, so I'm going with John Rahm. He's plus 1,200. It seemed like the value was there actually.
Yeah,
and I really love him to be in contention this week. Love his game. I actually met a guy. I'm in San Francisco this week for work, and I met a guy from Philly, and we were talking about the US Open at Oakmont, and he was saying that one of his buddies is on the grounds crew, and that they're like all volunteers that work at local clubs, and they like fly these guys in and from around the country to come in and help the USGA does. Anyway, his buddies are actually from Philly. He said that they screwed up when they were cutting the rough. And one of the things that he told him was that because they were mowing over the rough and trying to take a little bit off, they actually ended up mowing it. So in a lot of sections, it's laying over instead of like up. So when the ball gets dropped in there, he said it is just an absolute cluster.
It's a trap.
Yeah. And so anyway, just interesting to hear from this guy, Dan, who I met here in San Francisco, a little, from the horse's mouth, like right on course. So that was kind of cool. My second pick is Bryson DeChambeau. Again, chalky, I know, but I just love Bryson. I love how this guy plays. He's been in every single major. It feels like he's always in contention. He did poorly last year at the Open, the British Open, but I think he's been on a great streak in the majors. He's playing super well on Live. He's plus 750, which I just thought, that's really good value for Bryson. And I think in part that's probably the Scotty effect, right? Eric, you brought it up. There's not a lot of guys at the top of the favorites, and then a ton of guys that fit within our plus 10,000 or better. And my long shot is right in line with Pat Klett. I took Aaron Rye as my long shot. So I looked it up because Pat nailed it. What's the best way to avoid this horrible rough that Dan's buddy in Philly was mowing, right? And reports back, avoid it. Don't go in the rough. And Aaron Rye leads the tour at 73.4% fairways hit. So give me 2 gloves, give me Aaron Rye. I love that pick, Pat.
I think this year I'm at 73% fairways hit too.
Nice. There you go.
Driver's working for
Love
me.
that. It's probably non-conforming.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I know, Bierman, you're probably not going to take Rory, but man, how crazy. I'm so anxious to see how he plays this week.
I know. I can't wait to see how he bounces back. Yeah, I'm going. God, well, you guys both picked Rye, but picked all other different golfers. I'm going with Xander for my first one for similar reasons where I picked him, I believe, few weeks ago at the PGA. He was injured early in the season, hasn't played a ton, but I just feel like he's ready for a breakout this season. He makes every cut. He's had 65 in a row, so you know he's going to be there on the weekend. He finished 7th at the US Open last year, which, by the way, guys, Scotty finished 42nd in the US Open last year. So he's not infallible. The guy's not always just a rubber stamp. But anyways, I'm going with Xander. My second one, I'm going with Pat's guy. Tommy fucking Fleetwood is my number 2 pick. Dude, he could totally screw
Never
me.
Again. Never again, Tommy.
I forgot about
I am high on him for this tournament. Things just feel different from him this year. He's playing well. He's made 15 consecutive cuts. He has 4 top 10 finishes. He's 7th in total strokes gained. He played respectable in the tourney here last year, finished 16th. So, yeah, give me Tommy all day. I'm actually feeling pretty damn good about it.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would be awesome. And then, for my dark horse last week with my boy with the best name ever, Cougar Collins.
How do you do?
He let me down. Let me down.
Geez.
Although he did finish with a better score than Rory. So
okay,
there's that.
But he missed the cut.
But he missed the cut. Yeah, but he did. He had I think he beat Rory by 3 strokes. But I mean, Rory was just horrendous. So, Cougar Collins let me down. So this week I'm going with a golfer who has won this tournament before, guys. And he has a hot wife. Pat picked this guy, I think, for the Masters. I recently wrote about him in my 6-pack as to what the hell has happened to Dustin Johnson. But I am going with him. He won the US Open the last time it was held here at Oakmont back in 2016. So he likes the course.
Different DJ.
Yes, he missed the cuts at the Masters and at the PGA, but he hasn't been quite as awful as I thought he was. He's had 3 top 10 finishes on the LIV Tour this season, including last week in Virginia. He finished 10th. So perhaps he's gaining some momentum, some confidence, and maybe this 40-year-old can bring the magic where he feels comfortable and has won before. So give me DJ and I will cross my fingers.
Hey, do you guys think I should be penalized for picking Rory last week?
Yes,
I feel like there should be a negative.
Well, I was going to say you should lose 3 points, but then that would have put you in last place. So really, you should lose 2 points, and you'd be tied for us again.
Yeah,
but we'll let it slide this time.
There should be some kind of penalty for
if you finish
that
bad. Yeah, there
was,
should be a penalty for that bad of a
That was rough.
All right, guys. Well, now it is time to go to our top 5, and it isn't always just fun and games on this podcast. But actually, yeah, it usually is. And so today we are going to take that literally, and we're going to talk about our favorite games, specifically our top 5 favorite board games. It can be any board game from any time period, old or new, but let's roll the dice here and have some fun. Pat, lead us off.
Good one there. Is besides Mexican Train,
Paston's
favorite?
I love Mexican Train.
My number 5, I went with Mr. Green in the Conservatory with the candlestick.
Great pick.
Yeah.
Clue. I mean, Clue was so fun growing up. I mean, and there was always like ways to kind of cheat it. Like you'd look over at people as they're doing the penciling and you're like, oh, they're penciling towards the bottom. They must be, anyway, it was a great game growing up. In fact, I was a long-term Spanish teacher at a school, a sub for a woman who was on maternity leave. I made these clue boards and we were working on classroom objects. So it'd be like, Señor Verde en la biblioteca con el bolígrafo. And so I spent the whole night making these board games and brought it in, and the kids liked it. It was fun, but it's such a classic game. Yeah. Number 4, I went with Trivial Pursuit. Trivial Pursuit. I
Classic.
just have, it's like Jeopardy. I've had
Beauty.
very fond memories of my family, in particular my grandmother Jewel and my aunt Marlene and Uncle Bill. They were just so bright, and I was a young kid, and this would be like after Thanksgiving meal. They'd all gather around and break out Trivial Pursuit, and I would just sit around and wait for the sports. And then when it came to sports, they'd be like, "All right, Patrick, you're up. We need you here."
Orange. It's orange.
And meanwhile, they're talking about all this stuff like, oh, La Boheme, that was by, whatever. They're just Puccini's La Boheme was, that was in 1936, I believe, Meanwhile, I'm just like, when do we get to the orange? When do we get to the land on an orange? But yeah, Trivial Pursuit was always classic, and I like playing it as I got older too. So that was my 5 and 4.
It's a great one. I love Trivial Pursuit. Did they ever come out with a all sports game? Because that would have been the one that I would have put on my top 5.
Yes,
I think.
Yeah.
Did they? So they actually have one like that?
They might have. I would assume.
I mean, how fun would that be?
I don't know. You would think. I don't know if I've
like football, baseball,
Yeah.
like it just every one was sports related. That'd be phenomenal.
Just no soccer though.
Yeah, that's fine. You can take soccer off. All right, my number 5. I think Pat's going to appreciate my number 5. Bierman, I don't know if you know this game, but in our neck of the woods, we call it Mini Downs because our horse track is Emerald Downs. And I built this little board. And for everybody that knows out here, all my buddies, we've all played this game, Mini Downs. In Minnesota, they call it horse craps.
Horse craps.
Yeah, horse craps.
I have my board right here. Do you want me to go grab the board?
Yeah, you should grab that.
I can show people.
You should grab that.
Yeah,
so, Bierman, do you know this game?
I think my mom has something like this. Is it where you like roll dice or something and your horse goes like Yeah.
And so
that's fun. Yeah,
that's super fun. It's a great game for tailgating. It's a great game for just hanging out, having some drinks. Yeah, there it is. Nice.
I actually have something like that. I think my mom gave it to me. Yeah.
I love it. I learned the game from, I mentioned Juve earlier. That's awesome. Jeff was the one who introduced me to the game, and it was Jumanji version. So it had Jumanji characters. I built the one that was horse racing because I loved horse racing. And then my friend Lucas built one that was cars themed. And it was a good way for us to teach our kids how to gamble, I guess. But yeah, it's just a great game. So my number 5 is Mini Downs, AKA Horse Craps. My 4, I went with the Bierman here. I got 4A and 4B, but I'll make it quick because I love these resource management games. These are strategy games. I don't know if you guys have ever played Puerto Rico. You guys ever played that game?
No.
Okay, it's a fantastic game. Love it. Such a good game. And then there's another one made by the same maker, and I am dropping the ball on what the game maker is called at the moment, but they also do one called Power Grid. Have you guys played Power Grid?
No.
Okay. Just great strategy games. Fun. You can play with your kids. They're probably not young kids. Like Isaac, my oldest, was super good at all the strategy games. So he played from a very early age, but they're just really fun and they never play the same way. So just lots of thinking and strategy, knock them out in an hour and a half, 2 hours, but just really fun games to play as a family on game night.
Nice. All right. I love this.
I do love the horse craps. Horse craps is fun. I wish I had that when I was in high school. Yeah.
Awesome. Love it.
Now, do you bet on those?
Yeah.
When you guys play with your buddies?
So when you
some money?
So to start the game, you roll the dice 4 times and you move that horse into the stable. So they don't actually participate in the race.
Scratched horses. They're called scratched horses.
Yeah, so
that's great.
So if anyone rolls those, then there's a dollar value.
So you deal out the cards,
yeah,
and the cards you have are the horses you're betting on. And if you have like the 7 and the 7 horses scratched, every time someone rolls a 7, you're putting money into the pot. And if you have like the 4 horse and the 4 horse, people keep rolling 4s and the 4 makes it to the finish, you get, if you have like 1 4, or, if you have 2 4s, you get half the pot. Excuse me, and so you split the pot amongst the 4s. And if you have the joker, you don't have to pay on the scratch horses. But it's good. The pot can get up pretty good, and it gets exciting.
And you can play for a nickel, right? Or 4 nickels, or you can play for a lot more money, depending on who you're playing with. So it's a blast. People are all cheering and chanting over, who's going to roll. Come on, 9. Come on, let's go 9. And yeah, it's just a blast.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, my number 5. So I'm going with Cards Against Humanity. I know this game isn't for everyone. It can get a little racy, and it makes some people uncomfortable. And I really think my daughter Mac hates playing it with us, although her best friend loves it and like wants to play it with us anytime she's over, and she's very good at it. But pretty simple concept, not a lot of strategy or skill, a lot of laughing, a lot of sexual innuendos, and overall massive inappropriateness. So basically, my kind of game. Number 4 is Balderdash or
Yeah.
Beyond Balderdash. This game is basically all about lying and being good at it. So, you're given like a real but obscure thing, like a movie title, a weird law, some acronym word, and you have to
Or
you
a
have to
date.
write a fake answer to make other
Yeah.
people think that's actually what it is. So, if the movie's like Motors and Speed or something, you're going to write something that sounds like that's the description of the movie. People vote on it. You want people to vote on yours. You want people to think that that's actually what the movie is. So you get points for doing that. The person who picked the card gets points if people guess that they're the right one. So it's a mix of bluffing, creativity, and trying to sound just believable enough. So I like that one.
All right. Number 3 for me, I'm going way back when I was in grade school to what we call Stratomatic baseball. Did you guys ever
Oh,
play
yeah.
Stratomatic baseball?
Dude,
So
Stratum, I cannot
That's
play
awesome,
Stratomatic.
Bull.
That is awesome, dude. That is
it was
old school.
I had a folder and I had all these little cards and 2 dice, and you'd get together with a buddy and you'd play 9 innings of baseball. And based on what you roll, that's the outcome of the at bat. So if I roll a 7, maybe it's a guy who's got a low average. So when I set my lineup, you set up your guys who are coming up to bat, and you roll a 9 and all of a sudden you get to ground out to short, or then you roll a 8 and it's a home run, so you score it like a baseball game. Like if you've ever done the books at a baseball game, yeah, I mean it's basically that, but it's I don't know, I always liked it more so for nostalgia, and you'd have a lot of the the cards you had were actual players. So it'll be like Tony Gwynn. Oh, I'm going to play Tony Gwynn this game. I'm going to play, so and so. And yeah, so that was a fun one. Stratomatic baseball. The other one, my number 2, I'm going to go with Scrabble, but I also want to shout out Boggle, which is like a shorter, quicker version of which my mom and I used to play.
Boggle's good. Totally forgot
I
about
love Big Boggle.
Very
Big Boggle.
similar game. I never
Do
played the
they
Big
still
Boggle.
make I have not seen Boggle in decades. Seriously, do they still make it?
I think they got to. It's such a good game. You
It's a
shake it up
classic.
and it,
Compare lists at the end.
Yeah.
Scratching it off as Pat reads all my answers.
Maybe I should just say Boggle here instead of Scrabble.
Either one. They're both great.
Boggle was so fun. I like the Wheel of Fortunes. I love word finds. I like Scrabble. Invented in 1938 by Aldred M. Butts. No relation to Seymour or Phil. It just tests the depths of your vocabulary. So it's either Boggle or Scrabble. Any kind of word game.
That's awesome. My number 3 is Axis and Allies. Love military stuff. You guys know this now. Movies, board games. This game is hardcore. Did you guys ever play Axis and Allies with friends?
I have never played it. I really would love, dude. The next time we're together, we should try it. I wonder if does Craig play it?
I don't know if he plays. It takes a special kind of commitment to
how
play
many
Axis
do you
and Allies.
need? I love those types of games. How many?
You can play with two players.
You can play with 2.
Yeah, because one person would be the Axis, one person would be the Allied countries, or you can play where one person is Japan, one person is Germany, one person is UK or Great Britain. It's just a blast, and we nerded out on this thing in college. We would get together, we'd set up this board, it'd be on a table that was dedicated to the game. We would play it over the course of multiple nights, drinks and pairing up, and we had rules about how you could communicate with your allies. I mean, it was hardcore nerdiness, but it was just an absolute blast. And we still talk about it to this day, about trying to run it back at some point and get a game set up, and then just over some amount of time come together. Each turn could literally take an hour just to go through each one of the countries. So yeah, crazy game, super cool. What I loved about it was how accurate it also depicted what each country had to face in World War II. So, if you were Japan and you did not take care of your Navy right off the bat, you were in big trouble in the game for obvious reasons. So anyway, super cool. 100% nerd on that one.
Not cool.
Yeah,
Nerdy.
I know.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Pictionary. Did you guys ever play Pictionary?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I am the worst creative drawer ever, so I suck at it, but it's fun.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people feel that way. In fact, there's a lot of people that were really good drawers or artists that suck at Pictionary because they take forever to draw something that you can just get out there and get your team to guess it. Anyway, shout out to my buddy John Cotto out here. Me and John, I swear, if we had competed in Pictionary, we would have been absolutely dominant if there was some sort of professional circuit. We were on the same wavelength. He would start drawing something, I would guess, and the other team's like, how do you get that out of what he just drew? I'm just telling you, we were just vibing 100%, same page. Pictionary, what a fun game though to play as a family. The kids love it. Unless it's an all play and then they get stressed because everybody's drawing and trying to guess at the same time. But that's a fun one. That's my number 2.
Do you ever get the sense of Seinfeld and Bob Sacamano every time Bill just throws these friends out all the time?
Yeah.
John Collins.
Shout out.
And shout out to John Collins and shout out to this guy.
Bob
Are you
Sacamano.
saying that Cotto doesn't
That's
exist
great.
or that I just shouldn't reference these guys?
You just got no. It's great. Don't ever change. Don't
like
change.
an imaginary friend
It just makes
that I
me
played
think of
Pictionary
Bob
with.
Sacamano. These guys, I'm never gonna meet this person.
Oh
It's
man,
these legendary, mythical people. All these great stories, and
Cotto.
all I know is
Yeah.
Cotto. That's all I know. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
He's a special one too, man. I love that guy.
Great.
Oh my God, that's awesome. All right, my number 3. It's probably my daughter's Mackenzie's favorite game, and it's definitely top 5 for me. I'm going with Scattergories. We play this game every Thanksgiving and every Christmas.
Love Scattergories. Honorable mention for me. Yep.
What's that?
It was an honorable mention for me.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's just fun to play as a family. It's not difficult to play, and it's fun. I'm decent at it. I'm not like great, but I can hold my own, and so it's fun. So that is definitely my number.
That's
2.
where you roll. That's where you roll
3.
the dice, and it has a letter, and every answer has to start with that letter.
Yeah. So if you have like movies, so you have a list of like 12 things, and movies might be one, foods could be one, states, monuments, whatever. And so like if movies and it's P, and the word the doesn't count. So like Princess Bride is one you could put.
Yeah.
But you want to be careful that someone else doesn't put that, because if someone else puts it, you don't get the point.
Yep.
And you could put like Peter Pan, which would give you 2 points.
2 points. Yep.
Because you got 2 words that start with P. So there's just, there's some
You love the alliterations too, so you would be all over that.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be all over that.
Next time, famous athletes, Cougar Collins for C, dude. I'm putting it.
Chris
And then
Collins.
my number 2 is Pat's number 2, Scrabble. This could be my 1B for sure. I love this game. I played it since I was 6 years old. My older brother and his girlfriend at the time, who is now his wife, I've known her since I was 3 years old. They would play with me all the time, but they never would let me win, which is awesome. So when I finally won, it was like the best feeling ever. And it taught me a lot, honestly, about spelling and just critical thinking in general. So, and then my mom and my grandma also loved it. And my grandma, toward the end of her life, she was losing a lot of things, but she still just loved playing Scrabble with me. Cool. And so it was, so there's a sentimental reason too, a lot of good memories. So that's my number 2. All right, Pat.
Nice.
Number 1.
Well,
baby.
we got a couple two Pats here. We got Balderdash, or Beyond Balderdash is my number 1. You mentioned it earlier.
Great game.
Isn't that so good?
The creativity, it's so funny.
We should have played that when you were here.
Such a good game. I played that with my in-laws at Christmas, and it's constant laughter.
What makes it beyond Balderdash? What's the?
I was literally just gonna ask.
I don't
know. I don't think there's a difference.
Okay.
I think it's just like a
newer version or something.
Yes,
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a great game.
Yeah,
just a couple. Yeah. I did like Scattergories too. couple others. Stratego.
Yeah.
A couple
Classic.
honorable mentions if you've ever played Stratego. Yahtzee. Yahtzee
Yeah.
is just kind of a no-brainer, like a dumb one.
Yahtzee. How did I not think of Yahtzee? Holy
Yeah.
shit. I love
Yahtzee. Risk is so tough. Like those are so those long Risk and Monopoly were in a category where it's like I kind of like them at the beginning, but as you get going, you're like, is this over yet? Are we done? Like once you get going, it's like, all right, we see how this is gonna play out. Let's quit. So
totally.
Yeah.
Risk. Let me just throw out a Brent Hart Risk. My guy, my boy Brent.
Bob Sacamano's cousin.
Yeah, Brent was the guy you'd play against that would roll forever on his first turn and just take his whole army out, like right off the bat, because he tried to go too far. And then you just mow him over at some point. But every time I'm like, Brent, change your strategy, dude. What are you doing? Anyway.
I mean, Kato wouldn't do that shit.
Kato doesn't do that shit. No, but Brent.
My Monopoly strategy is to get the first two once you pass go, those cheapest categories, the cheapest properties, and get hotels on them right away. So every time people are passing go,
what is it? Mediterranean
and Baltic.
Baltic.
Yeah.
Baltic. Yeah. No, that's a great strategy, Pat. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Love that. A lot of fights started over those games, for sure. Yes. I'm sure in families, right? Yeah. Like boards thrown, etc.
Yeah.
So number one for me,
Operation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Operation. I forgot one more. Operation. Yes.
The spleen.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. Yeah, that's a classic. Did you guys ever play Icebreaker? I think it was called, or something, and it was like you put and you tap it with the Mousetrap. Was that another one?
Oh,
like back in the day,
similar thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Similar thing. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many good ones. My number one. This is the GOAT of board games. My family has played this game hundreds and hundreds of times. It's Settlers of Catan, and it's the Cities and Knights expansion. Have you guys ever played Settlers of Catan?
Never played it. It's that good.
Guys, it is just
how long does it take to play?
45 minutes to an hour and a half.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad.
If you have 5 or 6 players,
and your family can play it.
Yeah. And when my kids were super little, we'd say, "You're the banker," and then they'd hand out the resource cards and the commodity cards and all that, and they thought that was cool to take part. My sister's family, we've played this game hundreds of times together. Shout out to my old man, since I'm going to keep that theme going. He calls this game Cups, which I think you guys would appreciate because you both watch Friends, right? When Joey, I think, says, I never watched Friends. But he makes up a game.
Chandler makes up a game to give Joey money. Yeah.
And it's called Cups, where he just makes up rules. That's what my dad says about Settlers of Catan, which is like, and then you can't do this thing at this time with that thing or this resource. But the game's just fantastic. The board shifts every time because you have these tiles you put down, and it's a dice rolling game, but you collect commodities and try to get victory points. But what's so amazing about this game is that it literally plays different every single time. There's still a lot of strategy involved in it, but it's also kind of luck because of the dice rolling. But just a really, really fun game, and you can absolutely screw people over throughout the game, usually whoever's ahead. And so it's one of the most frustrating games of all time as well. But to win it is also feels like an accomplishment every time. So it's a beauty. And
that's awesome. I'll have to check that out. I think I would like that, and it sounds maybe semi-similar to my number one. My number one's Risk. Pat said it. I love this game. It's the game of world domination, damn it. How can you not love this game? It's fun, it's strategic. Now, there's obviously some luck involved because there's dice involved, but and the one thing I will say going against it, Pat mentioned, it can be a long game. It can be a long game, so people can start to lose interest. But if you have 4 or 5 players who all know what they're doing, it can get competitive, and I love that. It gets my juice flowing. It's not a game I play very often because I just don't have there's not a lot of people that like to invest that amount of time, but I have like a limited edition, like super nice version of this game that I've only rolled out a few times, but would love to play it. So if any of our listeners, want to put together an epic Risk weekend, let me know. I'll be there.
Love that.
I'll bring my
son.
board.
My son always wants to play that one, and I'm just like, I got to mow the lawn.
Yeah,
it's too long for me. I like the beginning.
It's a long one.
It's just like
nice.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Risk is a good one. I love it. All right, guys. Well, that was fun. That was a nice mix of nostalgia and some new ones, some board games that I had never played. Actually, Bill, you had a few there that I'd never played, so I have to check this out. And Pat, I totally forgot about Trivial Pursuit. Like, that's a good one.
Classic. Yeah.
I might need to bring that one out of the closet here soon. That's a good one.
Well, you
guys,
gotta get the updated version, because then it's like you're playing Trivial Pursuit out of your closet from like 1987.
From the 80s.
It's like who's won the most Academy Awards? Bette Midler.
Yeah.
Should we develop a Sandman Sports board game? Where what would the objective be?
It would be like Trivial Pursuit, but it would be hockey, baseball,
yeah, it'd be
basketball,
awesome.
Football,
we could do all our top
and then
fives.
and then
Be my
five
guess.
would be miscellaneous.
Be my guess. You get
like
to do
random
a rant.
sports.
You get to do a rant every once in a while. Yeah,
Love that.
Yeah. And the first person to get Pat to wear a Packers jersey wins the game. There you go.
Okay.
That might be never ending. Like my Axis and Allies.
Or Bill to win a Ducks game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can I shout out
You're
a
gonna
few more
have to
guys?
get me real drunk first.
Yeah.
Bob Sacamano.
Let's do it. Let's do it. What do you got for honorables?
My list is long. I don't know if you guys went. We play a lot of strategy games, and just based on your guys' lists and that you weren't familiar with some of the ones that I have. Pandemic is another great one. Ticket to Ride is a good one. If you guys have ever played that, it's the trains one.
You and I do not. We're not on the same game wavelength, dude.
Yeah, but you guys just taught Pat just taught me euchre when I was with you guys in Cincinnati. That was a blast to learn that game after I'd heard so much about it.
Is that not a Washington thing?
It's a Wisconsin thing. It's very Wisconsin.
Well, it's definitely a Midwest. Yeah, definitely a Midwest thing.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Okay. I mean, card games. My gosh, that might have to be another top 5
cribbage
at some point. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I love card games.
Yeah. Did you want to say stuff though, Bill?
I was just saying, can I shout out a few more of my friends? That's what I was. I was joking. I was joking. I was just like, I'm just thinking about a few more guys I could call out.
Bob Macasano.
Bob Macasano.
I love it.
Oh God, dude, that's hilarious. Well, Bill, though, before we wrap up, you got anything you want to shout out from the pool side of things?
Well, I mean, you guys are going to be like heads down on the U.S. Open when you start devouring this episode 43. So we can't say much about the U.S. Open, but what we can say is I think I teased this out there last week, and I would encourage you guys to email us at info@entersandmansports.com if you're interested in participating in our new side bets and the Sandman Sports Forum. To be honest, we've had somewhat limited participation, but the people that have played, I think we're up to about 20 people participating now.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, not terrible, but
for just announcing a week or two ago.
Yeah, and the people that have been playing are enjoying it, and so there's been a few bucks flying back and forth, and
I love that. I love that.
So that's been fun. So email us if you're interested. Love to have you join us. Check out some of the bets that people are putting out there. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, guys, as always, such a super fun show to do with you both this week, but sadly, it is time to exit. Sandman Sports, Sandman Nation, thank you, as always, for tuning in. Please be sure to check us out, follow us, like us, subscribe to us, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at Enter Sandman Sports. And please visit our website, entersandmansports.com. Have a freaking great weekend.
God.
For the love of God, please.
I'm begging you.
Bob Macasano is asking you nicely. Please visit entersandmansports.com. Sandman Nation, have a great weekend. Peace out. Take care.
Good luck, everybody.